Hello everybody. Like many Fallout New Vegas fans, I've always felt that Caesar's Legion was fascinating and very unique in their style, ideology, history, and ambitions, but ultimately ended up feeling lacking and finished and rushed. And indeed, that was the case, as Fallout New Vegas was made in a very short period of time, approximately 18 months. Because of that, many features, locations, and pieces of lore were cut and left on the drawing board. That leaves some room for speculation and expansion of this faction. That's why I decided to make this series of videos. I aim to expand the Legion and fill what I think are logical, stylistic, and design gaps, as well as missed opportunities that I've noticed while researching them and playing the game myself. Let's do a brief overview of Caesar's Legion.
My legion obeys me even unto death. Why? Because they live to serve the greater good, and they know of no alternatives.
Caesar's Legion, also referred to as the Legion, is an imperialistic slaver society and totalitarian dictatorship founded in 2247 by Edward Caesar Sallow and Joshua Graham. Built on the conquest and enslavement of tribal societies in the Mojave Desert and American Southwest to enforce unity in the absence of civilian institutions. The Legion loosely models itself after the military of the Roman Empire, repurposing its language and aesthetics for the post-apocalypse. As of 2281, the Legion controls large amounts of territory east of the Colorado River, primarily in the former states of Arizona and New Mexico, with footholds in Utah and Colorado. Worshipped as the son of Mars by his followers, Caesar's ultimate goal is to conquer the new California Republic and merge its civil institutions and infrastructure with the military strength of the Legion, creating a new totalitarian empire. The Legion is first and foremost a slave army, the sole owner of which is Caesar. Caesar conquers the people of the wasteland. He strips them of their tribal identities and merges them with his forces. There is no other tribe than the Legion itself. The non-tribal people who live in the Legion-controlled territory are not considered legionaries. They are subjects of the Legion, living in the cities and towns under its control, and are generally left free to do whatever they wish, as long as they do not interfere with the Legion's operations and endanger its position. Caesar has patterned his slave army after the post-Marian reform of Roman imperial legions. I won't break down the organization of their entire legion now. One feature of the legion is that the rank is determined by experience and merit in combat. In the original lore, the least seasoned legionaries are typically fielded first in battle. The thought process behind it is allowing them to prove their mettle in combat. Those who survive and prove themselves on the battlefield become prime legionaries, eligible for command as a decanus or deployment as a second wave attack. That's the official shortened version of the lore. I aim to make some changes to the hierarchy, the lore, and to the way the Legion conducts itself. I aim to keep my changes as lore friendly as possible, but I want my changes to make sense for them as a faction, because as they stand with this lore and with this approach, the Legion should not survive as a faction. The training and the path to becoming a Legionnaire is hard as it is and dangerous. Training a capable soldier like that takes a lot of time, effort, and experience, and it would be illogical for the Legion to just throw away valuable manpower into the furnace just to show how cruel and brutal of a regime it is. In this video, I'm gonna focus on the bottom of the totem pole of Caesar's army, the units we see most in the game, the Legionnaires. They're the backbone of the Legion, the ones who do most of the dirty work in combat. My goal here is to make the Legion units look lore-friendly and enhancing them in a way that makes sense within the world. That means making the armor more plausible for their war against the NCR and the general dangers of the wasteland. Also expanding on the types of the units they deploy and improving the technology they use, all the while adding stylistic elements that fit the faction's identity. Basically, the idea is to make it a bit more believable. Let's be honest, watching Legion soldiers charge into battle wearing football gear and throwing spears stretches the suspension of disbelief way too far. No amount of discipline or cunning is going to make you win against modern firearms, machine guns, and explosives. Several well-placed machine gun nests in Hoover Dam would end the fight very quickly, in my own opinion. So let's get to the designs. I've made some changes to the Legion's hierarchy. Let's start with the new lowest possible fighting unit for the Legionnaires. The Initiate, the lowest rank of Caesar's military. Slave men who were designated fit for combat service, or legionary children that reached the appropriate age to start their initiation, as they are still unproven for Legion standards. The Initiate is the first phase of becoming a Legionnaire. He is still in training, and during his training he will be tested in real missions, alongside regular Legionnaires. He still hasn't earned the right to don any Legion garb or equipment. His only job is to prove himself worthy to become a recruit Legionnaire. Before a slave earns the right to call himself a recruit, he is first tested in training in the field. He is not yet a soldier. These initiates are stripped of their identity, dressed in rags and minimal protection. The only real protection they have is front and back scavenged metal plates. They must make their own cold weapons out of the things they find in the wasteland and around them. The only weapon the Legion hands them is a rusty, unreliable pipe rifle. The rifle is single shot. Their equipment is intentionally unreliable. The rifle jams and needs constant servicing, as does the blade. The armor barely covers the Initiate's vitals. This is by design. They must always be prepared for the worst case scenario. And they must always pay attention to the condition and cleanliness of their equipment. They must know their firearms ins and outs. They must know how to maintain, fix, clear jams. They must know all the ins and outs of their firearms. The Legion is ruthless, but it's not careless and stupid. I tried to create a scenario where the Legion is strategically and tactically sound, and takes into account that throwing their men into certain death every time would result in massive loss of manpower. The Initiates are not permitted to wear anything too comfortable. They are only allowed minimal clothing and footwear, like sandals and some cloth to cover their torso. They mostly wear bandages on their arms, sometimes on their legs, to at least somehow protect their arms from the elements when crawling around. Their faces are wrapped with torn cloth and red bandanas, marking them as a property of the Legion. Each carries a small pouch of ammunition tied to a rope around his waist. Initiates are taken on missions with Legionnaires that mentor them and show them the ropes, raising the next generation of warriors according to the Legion's standard, although the Initiates are expected to participate fully in combat missions, and some die while on them. The initiation period lasts for about 40 days. In some cases, when there isn't time for a lengthy process, a quicker initiation will be done in a week or two, but a faster initiation requires the initiate to be on as many dangerous excursions as possible in a short period of time. If the initiate survives, he may become a recruit. After the initiation, those who made it are gathered for a ceremony before their centurion. Their rags are replaced with the simplest Legion equipment, a chestplate from strong durable steel that can protect from ballistic impact with minimal pauldrons. Under it, an old-world soft protective sports vest that is not capable of protecting against any ballistics, but somewhat stab and slash resistant, and can absorb blunt impact very well. Same goes for the arm protectors. After that, they're handed a red shirt, belt, and minimal shoes. No head protection is allowed for them yet. After being handed all the equipment, the initiates kneel, half naked, while bowing. A priestess of Mars walks barefoot between them. Surrounding the new recruits are veterans, standing fully armored and chanting. The priestess applies ash mixed with herbs and blood from a sacrificed animal to their face while praying. Finally, the recruits must ceremonically yell to the centurion that they will serve the Legion until death. Although they finished harsh trials, the way for them is still long to become full-blown Legionnaires. But as of now, they are a full part of the army of Caesar. Their role in the Legion. Recruits do the big portion of the dirty work of Caesar's army. ammo carriers, supply haulers, digging and building fortifications, hunting, sourcing materials. They do all this and also their combat missions. The path of a recruit is exhausting. They have to do almost everything. All of that work makes the Legion more self-sufficient and less needy. It teaches the Legionnaires to always rely on themselves and develops them not only into warriors but also into survivalists. It teaches them to adapt and overcome every situation they might find themselves in. This period, they are learning and assimilating more and more into the Legion. Their purpose is to gain experience. As recruits, they must obey every order without even a thought of question. Their commanders, the Decani or veterans, are permitted to kill them for disobedience, retreat, cowardice, or even questioning orders. Their advancement to legionary status is judged by the veterans. If they proved enough, they may become a full legionary. Recruits are treated very harshly, but not unfairly. They will be taken to dangerous missions that may lead to their death. But throwing them to death is not the point, as the Legion is interested in having the strongest and most cunning soldiers. They will be pushed to situations where they must make decisions in the field to see their capabilities in extreme situations. Primes and veterans always keep their eye on the recruits and they judge their capabilities and their loyalty. The weapons of the recruits. Recruits are given a simple crude machete in a good condition. As a firearm, a recruit is given a single shot or double barrel, full-size shotgun in an acceptable condition. He may not change to anything else while he is a recruit. In the game, it's rare for the Legion to use guns, and I do not advocate to arm them to the teeth with modern weapons, but they can be armed with more simple types of firearms. The Legion, in my view, should not rely on firearms in their daily life, in their hunting, and in more low-risk skirmishes. But when it comes to more serious situations, like a full assault on an NCR major outpost, they would bring every type of firearm available for them. Most of the weapons the Legion should have are those that use reloadable cartridges, shotguns being a good example of that. The Legion, in my opinion, should be capable of producing ammo, especially simpler forms of ammo and explosives. Every unit in the army of Caesar should have some kind of firearms. And when I say unit, I mean the individual soldier. To forgo firearms entirely will end very badly for the Legion. After the recruit proved himself enough to the veterans, he will be promoted to a legionary. It can be one recruit or several, depending on the circumstances. The Legionnaire. When a recruit matures enough to become a legionnaire, another ritual is being performed. He must swear absolute loyalty to Caesar, the Legion, and Mars. The recruit must walk through a passage of flame, torches forming a narrow passage. After walking through the heat and the smoke, they emerge as new legionnaires, a sort of baptism. A capable, strong warrior that proved he has a place in the Legion. That's a legionnaire. He has learned, survived, adapted, and overcame. Legionnaires are treated better than recruits, but they must still know their place in the pecking order. They are very capable warriors and survivalists, hardened by years of hardship, toil, and combat. Their kit consists of full-size boots, leather ammunition pouches, a regular machete, steel forearm protection, extended layered torso steel plating, extended pauldrons, a bag for essential gear, a protective and cushioned old sports helmet, restored with new leather and padding. Besides the extended gear allowed to the Legionnaire, his rank is marked with a stripe on the sleeve. In terms of weapons beside the machete, Legionnaires use hunting rifles, shotguns, pistols, and explosives. They are entrusted by their superiors with leading recruits on small raids and low-stake operations and scout missions. They don't give orders to other Legionnaires, but they can supervise and delegate simple tasks to recruits. They can be commanded to maintain discipline among lower ranks. That's also where the leadership capabilities are judged. When not on campaign, the training for these units goes beyond the basic stuff. They are taught small unit tactics, reconnaissance, basic leadership, and more, although they are allowed better kit and weaponry, and the level of respect for them is higher than recruits. They have more to prove as responsibility mounts, and with more responsibility can come greater punishment for failure. If the Legionnaire was found to be capable, he would be advanced to Prime Legionnaire by a Prime Decanus. The Prime Legionary is a midpoint between regular Legionary and the Veteran, designated with 2 stripes on their sleeve. Prime Legionaries are allowed more protective equipment with more plates covering their body armor. They also have steel greaves and a steel cap attachment for their helmet to protect from ballistic projectiles. They also have chainmail under their armor covering the face from slashing attacks. They can equip a variety of weapons depending on the mission. They have more autonomy over their kit and tactical planning. Primes can be trusted with more superior weapons such as the 12 caliber SMG, grenade launchers, and machine guns. The Prime proved his ability in combat, showed discipline, and earned the trust of his superiors to command smaller units during raids or patrols, essentially acting as a squad leader. Primes are responsible for maintaining order amongst the ranks below them, mainly legionaries, as the legionaries' duty is to keep the recruits in check. They're expected to enforce discipline. The Prime has to carry out orders without hesitation and serve as an example. A Prime Legionary has seen enough combat to know what works and what's not. He must be level-headed to perform his duties. The Prime's main strength is his experience. He is an invaluable asset in the field, capable of reading the situation under stress while leading his men. When given command, he acts decisively, but does not forget his place in the hierarchy. The Legion rewards him with slightly better equipment and a measure of respect, but expects more out of him in return. Failure or hesitation isn't tolerated in this stage. A Prime who falters will face the most dire of consequences. Anyone who reaches this rank in the Legion is a force to be reckoned with, as Primes are several levels above anything the NCR can produce, not counting the Rangers. Eventually, with enough experience and time in the Legion, those who survive are elevated to the status of Veteran. This is a natural process without any ritual, as experience and time produce the best of the best the Legion can produce in terms of Legionaries. The Veteran Legionnaire. The veterans among the Legionaries can surpass most NCR Rangers in skill, cunning, and experience. They represent the top of the totem pole among the Legion's regular fighting units. Veterans are marked with 3 stripes on their sleeves and a red stripe on their helmet, as well as copper brims on parts of their armor. Their armor is more refined, featuring custom-made steel greaves, chainmail that covers a large portion of the body, and pouches and bandoliers for their gear. They carry broad machetes kept in excellent condition, and their torsos and sides are fully protected with reinforced plating and extended pauldrons. Their arms are covered with enclosed steel bracers, and their helmets are fitted with detachable faceplates. Some veterans decorate their armor with trophies, like animal teeth, as you see in the artwork, NCR dog tags, or other personal mementos, symbols of their victories. Veterans often serve in leadership positions, usually as second in command to the Decanus, assisting with whatever tasks are required. They command immense respect from their comrades, who often seek their guidance or request to fight alongside them on raids and skirmishes. Of course, this is still the Legion. No one acts freely outside the chain of command, but among the ranks, veterans are revered. They can lead missions, issue orders to lower ranks, and even administer punishments. To recruits and lesser legionaries, they are almost godlike figures, feared, respected, admired. To their enemies, veterans are a terrifying presence. Raiders, settlers, NCR soldiers alike dread the idea of Legion veteran reinforcements. This information may strike panic in the ranks of the NCR. Veterans are effective force both in direct combat and in psychological warfare. They are free to use any weapon suited for the mission, and can even request custom weapons from the Legion's forges. Typically, they carry a primary firearm, a machete, or a sword, and a sidearm. When the need arises, a veteran can be promoted to deaconess without question, though most of the time they're first evaluated to ensure they possess the leadership and discipline required for the role. And that's gonna be it for this episode. In the next episode, we're gonna move to the officer corps of the Legion.